Whoa! What the? Don't you want to see my friend?
Over the years, there have been a weird history with animals being involved in wrestling storylines. From Jake the Snake Roberts allowing his cobra to viciously bite Macho Man Randy Savage, to Stone Cold Steve Austin leaving Triple H in a room with a deadly rattlesnake. These stories have had, well, mixed feedback. However, some fans often praise WWE and other wrestling companies for doing something out of the box, particularly when it comes to having a wild animal involved. These can be a massive boost to their overall presentation and can sometimes actually allow the wrestler to get over more as a result. But which wrestlers were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 5 wrestlers who brought terrifying animals to the ring. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists.
Hey, let's go out there to the ring and bite on somebody. Let's get them, girl.
Number 5, the Steiner Brothers, a pit bull. The Steiner Brothers are well established for being one of the most influential and successful tag teams of all time. Having won the tag team titles in virtually every promotion the duo have ever stepped foot in, they're often cited for being way ahead of their time in terms of their in-ring style. Nevertheless, there's an element of the tag team's character that fans seem to forget, and it relates to a pit bull that Scott and Rick used to bring down to the ring. During their time in WCW, the pit bull named Arnold would accompany the Steiners to the ring for their matches, and it was a great touch which really enhanced their presentation. During Steiner's spoken word tour in 2016, he would share a number of stories surrounding the dog, and he would discuss how much the dog meant to him. Steiner revealed that Arnold could perform tricks such as high-fiving his owner. Additionally, Steiner would share stories in relation to how he would tell Arnold to chase his opponents, even though the reality was that Arnold was a pretty harmless dog who just wanted to play. Steiner even shared a story in relation to where he refused to drop the US title. He revealed that he placed Arnold on top of his bag in case anyone tried to retrieve the US title from the bag, and naturally, nobody attempted to take it. Number 4, Big Josh 2 Wild Bears. Before Matt Osborne made his lasting mark on the wrestling industry with the popular Doink the Clown character in WWE, Osborne had a slightly infamous character in WCW. He would play a character known as Big Josh, and Big Josh was a lover of the great outdoors, and his main focus of the character was that he had a healthy relationship with wild bears. This relationship was brought to screen when Josh actually brought 2 live bears to the ring for his match at Super Bowl I in May of 1991. According to Jim Ross, the idea was to simply get the character over. JR would reveal,
I couldn't tell you, man. That was just another, you could tell, but how many new things that the company was trying at that point in time to simply find something that would stick against the wall. And think about how practical. What if the bear thing had gotten over? How you going to get them to the towns? You know, you're going to call the local bear union and, hey, send me over 2 bears that are comfortable around people and we're walking our hind legs for about 50 yards. It was impractical, Conrad, obviously. And that was a dusty deal. He wanted to get Big Josh over. Big Josh, of course, was Matt Bourne, one of the Doinks, or the best Doink.
Number 3, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, a Komodo dragon. When WWE decided to introduce a Komodo dragon into Ricky Steamboat's storyline with Jake Roberts, it was ambitious to say the very least. A Komodo is an extremely wild and dangerous animal, and the WWE had to be very careful in ensuring that nobody would get hurt. When Steamboat actually revealed a Komodo dragon to the crowd to scare off Roberts, the dragon actually appeared to be a small crocodile, which naturally confused fans. However, in both WCW and WWE, they would both use a real Komodo for promo shots for Steamboat, which is the closest fans ever got to seeing a real-life Komodo in the flesh. Number 2, Jake the Snake Roberts, a cobra. Perhaps the most legendary animal in the wrestling industry is Jake the Snake Roberts' pet snake Damien. During his career, Jake would bring his snake to the ring and would often release the snake onto his opponent to strike fear in them. This eventually earned Jake a reputation for being one of the most villainous, coldest and calculated characters in professional wrestling. Jake, along with his trademark snake, would be part of some notable angles with the likes of Steamboat, Andre the Giant and Earthquake. However, Earthquake managed to squash Damien in the ring, killing off his pet for good. Jake then turned heel and then brought an even more terrifying snake down to the ring, a King Cobra. And we all know that infamous scene when Macho Man Randy Savage gets bitten by the Cobra.
The snake is ready! Oh, the snake is biting him! The snake is biting him! I'm out of here!
And number 1, Scott Steiner, a tiger. The WCW in 2000 was a disastrous place to work. Half the wrestlers wanted to leave and storytelling was downright awful. There isn't a better example of this than when on a random episode of Nitro, Scott Steiner made his way down to the ring with an actual live tiger. The involvement of the tiger, well, made no sense as it had zero to do with Steiner or Steiner's opponent for his upcoming match. According to Dave Meltzer at the time, the tiger almost bit wrestling legend Rey Mysterio backstage. The story goes that Mysterio attempted to get a photograph with a wild animal, and unfortunately Mysterio was wearing zebra print style clothing. This startled the tiger, who proceeded to nearly take a chunk out of Mysterio. But there you have it folks, 10 wrestlers who brought terrifying animals to the ring. Be sure to leave your comments down below, I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.